Yo, what up? Josh Room from East West Healing Improvements. Today is part 2 of the benefits of broth and gelatin. Now, once again, this is all from the Metabolic Blueprint. If you want to learn more, check out the link in the description page. Go to that link, read more about the Metabolic Blueprint, and see if it fits your needs. It's a great program. We've got a lot of great testimonials. You can check that out on our website if you want to learn more. As well, check out our cookbook in the description link. You can purchase that. It's obviously cheaper. It's more of a startup guide cookbook to our larger Metabolic Blueprint program. So how to use gelatin and broth? Well, it's pretty simple. You drink broth. It's that simple. You know, there's many recipes out there. We like using knuckle bones or marrow bones. We like cooking it for a long period of time to get it more gelatinous. There's many ways to do it. You know, typically we recommend people use 8 to 10 pounds of bones. Fill it, or fill the pot, the water right above the bones, put a little bit of vinegar in, let it sit for a half hour to pull out the minerals. Turn it on to boil and let it simmer for 4, 6, 8 hours, whatever you want to do. Now, one of the ways that we've made it taste better is roasting the bones. How long do we roast them? I don't know. I'd have to talk to my wife. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, I'm not sure. So you're going to have to check that. But we roast them, brings out more of the flavor, more of the nutrients when we cook it in the broth, so we get more of that gelatinous consistency to our broth. Once you cook it, you put it in the fridge, let it sit overnight, skim the fat off in the morning, then you have your broth. You can use it however you want to use it. Gelatin's a little different. You can use it in your meal, you can use it in your burgers. In our Metabolic Blueprint cookbook, there's a lot of recipes in there that show you how to use gelatin. You can put it in your shakes, you can put it in orange juice, you can really put it in anything to get that extra protein intake, as well as that to get all the benefits that gelatin can actually provide us with. Now, there's 2 types of gelatin. It's pretty simple. You have the hydrolyzed, which is more the processed. It's not bad, though. It's in a green bottle. It dissolves in hot and cold water, and it's easier to use for most people. You can put it in your shakes, meals. It dissolves completely in solution, and it doesn't clump. Now, you can't bake with it. If you want to bake and make some of the recipes in our cookbook, like marshmallows, jello squares, whatever, you have to get the non-hydrolyzed, the orange bottle, because it clumps, but it only dissolves in hot water. Now remember, if you're going to try to put it in broth and stuff, it's still going to clump, and it can easily cause a lot of GI upset. We recommend people use it only for baking. So remember, there's the green bottle and the orange bottle. If you're just starting out, use the orange bottle. How much to use and how to use it? Well, it's pretty simple. Never use broth or gelatin alone. Always pair it with a carbohydrate and fat to balance out your macronutrients. Remember, too much protein can stimulate insulin. So balancing with carbohydrates and fat, add a little coconut oil, not a lot. I mean, a tablespoon of coconut oil is 12 grams of fat, which for some people can be a lot. So maybe start with half of that, depending on how much broth you take in. A cup of broth, I think, is 8 or 10 or 12 grams of protein. A tablespoon of gelatin is about 8 grams of protein. And of course, you need more protein in that in the meal, but it's a good adjunct. Always use gelatin and broth with muscle meats. Never have muscle meat by itself. The reason being is the amino acids in muscle meats mimic the stress reaction when they go in the blood. So if we use broth or gelatin with the muscle meats, and we're using a less amount of muscle meat, we can actually downregulate and balance the amino acids that are going into our blood and downregulate the stress reaction. When using gelatin, we recommend people start with 1 tablespoon a day, making sure it's completely dissolved in solution. We start slow because a lot of people use too much too fast. The one most common symptom we see is actually increased bloating and increased digestive issues. So start with 1 tablespoon a day. Pete recommends that getting about 1/3 of your total protein intake from gelatin and broth. That's a recommendation. We don't get everyone there just because for some people it's really challenging, but we just want to see enough broth and gelatin on their logs to see that it's actually benefiting them. Now, of course, we like to see 1/3 of their protein intake coming from their power proteins, which are non-inflammatory proteins just like broth and gelatin. Shellfish, whitefish, broth, gelatin, dairy, eggs. These are all anti-inflammatory proteins. There's nothing inflammatory about them. We go into those way more in depth, the benefits in our Metabolic Blueprint program, as well as our one-on-one coaching. When using broth, we recommend people starting with about 3 cups per day. And sometimes if you're inflamed, you actually might need more. Always pairing it with a fruit. We prefer people pair it with a fruit as well as a fat. Some people do well on more of it. Some people do well on less of it. That's pretty much it. The gelatin that we recommend is GreatLakesGelatin.com. They ship all over the world. They have the cleanest source of gelatin and broth, or gelatin. If you're too lazy and you can't get broth or gelatin, you can, broth. You can actually buy canisters of broth from U.S. Wellness Meats, or you can actually buy great marrow bones, knuckle bones, oxtail, etc., and have it shipped to your front door from uswellnessmeats.com. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this YouTube clip. Hope you understand the benefits of broth and gelatin and why we use it. There's always a why behind why we're using something. It's not just use this because everyone says so and it's healthy. You need to understand the why. Now, some people can actually overdo it. You know, sometimes when you're inflamed and your cells are holding on to water, more water can actually make you more inflamed, make you more hyperhydrated. So a lot of the time, sometimes regulating the amount of broth as well as increasing your salt intake can actually help regulate the loss of sodium and allow your cells to let go of water to regulate that intracellular to extracellular balance of water to reduce edema, downregulate aldosterone, etc. So hopefully you enjoy these YouTube clips. Don't forget, if you didn't watch the first one, go back to the first one on the benefits of broth. I'm out of here.